It's the 8th of July and I'm Tom Glasson. Welcome to The Roast. Now, Clive Palmer has changed his mind again, this time to support Tony Abbott's direct action scheme. However, he has a few changes. Namely, no more Green Army, it's the Yellow Army now. And it's not called direct action, it's called Palmer United Action. And the army is made up of C-grade celebrities no longer in the spotlight who know their place. Yes, hello, I'm a C-grade celebrity. What? D-grade? Well, at least it's a D+. D-? Who else is on my level? Ranger Stacey's stunt double. All right. Also tonight, a High Court injunction halts the handover asylum seekers, but first, Mark Humphries has the headlines. Yeah?
Australia and Japan have signed an historic free trade agreement. So that's Australia and Japan, free trade. Australia and Sri Lanka, none of your business. Tony Abbott, seen here spying on the Japanese Prime Minister the old-fashioned way, signed the deal with Shinzo Abe in Canberra today. The bilateral agreement has a lot of ins and outs and is tricky to sum up, unless, of course, you're the analyst from news.com.au.
Stuff is about to get cheaper.
But they are right. The agreement will see cheaper Japanese cars in Australia and cheaper Australian beef in Japan. So it's a great day to be a Mitsubishi Lancer, shit day to be a cow. During his first day in the country, Mr Abe also laid a wreath at the Australian War Memorial, addressed Parliament and licked his lips at the Sky Whale. His address to Parliament was only the third speech Mr Abe has delivered in English as Prime Minister, which explains why he only told people his name is Shinzo, he is 59 years old, and then kept counting from 1 to 10. Pink Floyd, the band that proved you could be successful and still be called Floyd, have announced they will be releasing a new album. It's the most exciting news for people on acid since yesterday when they discovered the meaning of the universe. The album is reportedly based on recording sessions from 1994, so expect it to be one of this year's top-selling cassettes. It's not clear yet why the band want to release their first album in 20 years, but I think I might know one reason. A horse-drawn stagecoach has crashed in Queensland. In more shocking news, Queensland has horse-drawn stagecoaches. So just to recap, Queensland doesn't want daylight savings, does want horse-drawn stagecoaches. The stagecoach, seen here imitating Australia's car manufacturing industry, fell 3 metres off a bridge, resulting in injuries to 12 tourists and both drivers. How many more stagecoaches need to crash before we say this madness must end? Some of the horses were reportedly spooked by a plastic bag caught in the wind. Although there was this one arty horse who filmed it and charmed a girl with the footage, but her dad likes her cheerleader friend. It's a total mess. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. And I would add that the scene where the cheerleader horse lay naked while rose petals drifted down on that strapping equine body was exceptionally erotic. Actually, Ranger Stacey's stunt double works with animals. I could probably get that horse's number. Well, last night the High Court issued a dramatic last-minute injunction to halt the transfer of 153 Sri Lankan asylum seekers back to Sri Lanka. And that was an impressive feat because, thanks to the government's media blackout, the court had to make the call without a whole lot of information.
Justice Susan Crennan declared it's probable that the asylum seekers had been detained or were in the custody of the Australian Navy and would be handed over to Sri Lankan authorities. However, Justice Crennan said their precise location was unknown.
That is a Justice of the High Court there trying to decide the fate of people who the government will only say may or may not exist. It was basically Schrodinger's cat, except if you closed the box, you'd have breached the Refugee Convention. And thanks to the media blackout, well, everyone was trying to get information.
Those matters are matters that are operational. I'm not going to comment on that. That is clearly within the province of my colleague, Minister Morrison, and I will leave it for him to comment.
Yep, sorry, I can't comment on that. You'll have to pass it on to the Minister for not answering questions.
Well, you've made a presumption in your question that I can't comment on. Again, you're making presumptions about instances that I can't comment on. Well, again, presumptions in questions that speculate on matters that I have not confirmed or provided any comment on. I refer to my previous answers.
Just really makes you pine for the days when you could shoot journalists in the head. And as far as media blackouts go, there's a lot of talk about this one in the media, which makes it about as useful as the United Nations in stopping Morrison, especially when we hear that the impenetrable media blackout is bypassed by advanced telephone technology.
A number of those on board have contacted journalists and refugee advocates by satellite phone pleading for help.
Well, to be fair, no one could have predicted that incredibly desperate people would just ignore his blackout and call the media. But was it right for the Australian media to then print the story? For more on that, we'll turn to Jazz Twemlow for another instalment of Media Botch, Blackout Edition.
At what point does an event become a significant event involving a boat on the water?
When you see me standing and reporting on it.
Good evening, I'm Jazz Twemlow. Welcome to Media Blackout Botch. That was a taste of the blackout in action, and it got even more bizarre after that.
So you determine whether...
I'm not.
Wait, so that wasn't the Scott Morrison? This just in, the Minister of Immigration and Border Protection is a hologram. Morrison's media blackout has so far been this year's worst attempt at hiding from the public, narrowly beating this kid to first place. Because while Morrison is giggling behind a curtain with his pudgy kid legs poking out, the High Court and news media are chatting to asylum seekers on satellite phones. And that wasn't the way Operation Sovereign Borders was supposed to play out. In the plan, journalists were meant to react more like, "Where have the boats gone? Oh, they've disappeared." So, Mr. Morrison, don't be surprised that your patronising media blackout leads to a frosty reaction from the press.
So are there any questions from the media on the issues that I've been here to announce today, and it's been my pleasure to do? I'll take that as a ringing endorsement from the media.
Endorsement? Most people would take deafening, judgmental silence to be a bad thing. But journalists write the news whether he gives them any or not, because that's their job. So, Mr. Morrison, when you release a statement that says,
Public curiosity is not the same as the public interest.
Don't be surprised if the media beg to differ. You can't hide behind your living room curtain forever, immigration hologram. Eventually the High Court will find you, and they might just give you a smack on the bottom for being naughty. For Media Blackout Botch, I'm Jazz Twemlow.
Thank you, Jazz. And that's the end of that, because if the High Court rules against you, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Done. Finito. Sorted. Cards on the table. Game over. Case closed and end of story. Lock it up, shut it down, and good night, because you're done, mate. It's over. Goodbye.
Prime Minister Tony Abbott says High Court action will not stop his government from preventing asylum seeker boats from trying to reach Australia.
Unless you write the laws yourself, in which case you can apparently do whatever you want. We'll be right back.
Have you ever had the High Court place an injunction on you? Did you feel bad? Or were you like, nah, it's the High Court that's wrong? Are you breaking international law? We'd love to hear about it at the Roast TV or hashtag Roast TV.
Finally tonight, Clive Palmer has announced that the Palmer United Party will not block the government's direct action policy, contradicting what he said back in April.
We can't see any reason to vote for direct action. It's dead.
It turns out direct action wasn't dead, it was sleeping, and because it wasn't working, people just assumed it had died. But for Palmer, seen here going to give a thumbs up then flip-flopping and deciding against the thumb, his support for direct action, much like my father's love, is conditional. In return for his thumbs up, Clive wants the government to keep Labor's emissions trading scheme, which he spoke so positively about on Lateline just a few weeks ago.
Well, we'll just chuck it out.
Wait, no he didn't. Much like Clive Palmer, I take back what I just said. In fact, the member for Fairfax has been doing so much flip-flopping, he's even got the ABC's Twitter account all jumbled.
Hashtag carbon tax on track to be axed.
Considering the absurdity and rhyming scheme of it all, it's entirely possible Clive Palmer is actually getting his policy ideas from children's literature. All right. Yep, pup is up in the polls right now. Okay, what's next? Cup pup. Pup in cup. Okay. Wait a minute, cup on pup? What the hell happened to pup in cup? God, if Pup won't commit to his position on standing on or in cups, how are the major parties going to deal with so much uncertainty? We'll have to go to a double dissolution. Then we'll see if Pup still has his cup. Oh! Oh, Pup dies in the end. He gets crushed by the cup. Now, in reaction to Palmer's announcements, the Liberals are insisting that the Senate respects the government's mandate.
Tony Abbott has vowed to stare down opposition to his budget in the Senate,
while Labor seems happy to try and woo Palmer and gain his favour.
And we're very pleased to see Mr Palmer today indicate that he will not support the abolition of the school kids bonus.
And the Greens appear to be trying to win Palmer over with the negging strategy.
I think it's more a question, does Clive Palmer actually understand any of this?
I know when I want to encourage someone to partner up with me, I insult their intelligence. That's why I am very much alone. But with everyone trying to woo Palmer's favour and take advantage of his balance of power, Palmer is starting to look less like a politician and more like the desirable star of a reality dating show.
Tonight on When Clive Comes to Town.
Everything is heating up as Clive plays the field and breaks his promises.
Clive's only got eyes for me. When we met, I told him I wanted to help to axe the carbon tax, and he gave me this.
Clive's the best. He's complemented my emissions trading scheme. I think he's ready to get serious. That'll teach those other who's queen bee around here.
I said I wouldn't compromise, and I meant it. It's my way or the highway. To be honest, I don't think he even understands what's going on. He's not going to see this, right?
Next time on When Clive Comes to Town.
I can't believe he lied to me like that.
Come on, you are nothing to him, OK? Me and him share a special connection, so...
Oh, please. He said he was going to be with me forever, yeah? When we had dinner at the Wild Duck.
He did not.
Yeah? Oh, no, you didn't! Oh, no, you didn't!
Yes, I did!
Thumbs down,
I'll do it
guys.
again!
Thumbs down! Guys, stop. Thumbs down, please. No, stop. Thumbs down! Thumbs down, please!
You know, that show was fun to watch for about a week, but I don't want to watch episodes for the next 6 years. Good thing then, I am more of a reader. Good night. Oh, the Australian Government refugee stands. I've read this one. Oh, the places you won't go, the pain and suffering you will know.